Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to a live episode of the X Factor Sports Podcast, Season 4, Episode 5, the fan appreciation episode. We are live at Bogey's Pub. Before we get into the show, it's going to be a great show tonight. Again, the fan appreciation episode. We do one once every season. We've chosen Episode 5 to do it in. Before we get started, we got to do some housekeeping. We want to thank Bogey's Pub for having us here. We really appreciate it. Nikki and the whole crew for setting us up, and Gary getting everything going for promotion. So thank you guys for having us. We also have over here to my right, you probably can't see it on camera, but Bogey is doing for the draft tomorrow that we want people to sign up for and win a cornhole set. So be sure to do that. Also, obviously, X Factor Sports Podcast shirts are now on sale. We've had people wanting these for a while. We finally got them done, so we're ready to roll them out and get some money off of them. All right. So thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. So we got a great show for you tonight. This is an NFL Draft special show. We are going to get into the picks, who I think is going number one and why, what the Bears will do. We got some Chiefs trivia. We got some Q&A. We got giveaways. We got everything we need. All right. So before we get into the actual show, we always do the quick news. So for the quick news, we got NBA playoffs. All right. We got 2 games out of the way for everybody. We're going to start with the Knicks and Sixers. The Knicks are up 2-0. A controversial call got the Knicks to win, but they won nonetheless. Dante DiVincenzo hitting a clutch 3 to win that game. Joel Embiid looks like he should not be playing at all. Embiid is playing probably at about 60%, playing on one leg, literally hobbling back down the court. I don't know if he should be playing or not. But nonetheless, the Knicks are up 2-0 going to Philly. And this is what I think Philly should do. Philly should change their lineup to small ball. All right? They need to move their 5-man. They need to move Joel Embiid out. They need to keep Kyle Lowry at the 1 and put Tyrese Maxey at the 2. Also have Kelly Oubre playing at the 3. Bring in Nick Batum at the 5. And then you got Nick Batum at the 5. So now we can spread the floor. We got transition. We do more against the Knicks. Even though they're tough, I think that they won't be able to win Sixers. So I think they need to do that. Then we got the Cavs and the Magic. The Cavs are up 2-0. I think Orlando's just overmatched. They're new in the playoffs. They're young. I don't think they can do anything with Cleveland. Cleveland's just a bigger, better team. Evan Mobley, the way he's playing, I don't think they have an answer for him. So that series might be over real quick. So Cavs up 2-0. The Nuggets up 2-0 on the Lakers. Last night, the Lakers had a 20-point lead. It still didn't matter. All right. In the last 10 games, the Nuggets have won every single game, and it's all been the same recipe. I was even telling Ms. D at the beginning of the game, she was like, this game, it looked like the Lakers look good. I was like, just wait. The Lakers will get a big lead. LeBron and AD will get tired because they got to play 45 minutes. The Nuggets will walk them down, and sure enough, they did. Even with Jamal Murray having a bad game, they still win. So if you listen to all these other shows, we're talking about the Lakers and how the Lakers should have won that game, and they're not looking at it the right way. So that's why you come here to get the real story. So the reason this series is over has nothing to do with the Lakers. The Nuggets haven't even been playing good. The Nuggets have Jamal Murray shooting 10 for 35 or something like that in 2 games. Jokic is the only one consistently playing well, and they're still winning games. So even your second-best player playing bad and hitting game winners, you still win. That gives you enough information you need to know that the Nuggets have this series in the bag. But they got to play at least 4 games, so that series is over. All right. The Wolves, surprisingly, up 2-0. The Suns just don't look like a team. Guys, they're top heavy. I feel bad for KD. He's got Book and Bradley Beal, but he has nothing else after those 3. And you're playing against the best defense in the league, so I got The Wolves probably winning that game. They might win that series in 5. KD might get them to 6, but I don't see it happening. It's just the Wolves are a complete basketball team against some individuals in the playoffs. That doesn't work. Even with Anthony Edwards having a subpar game, they still blew the Suns out by even more than they did in game 1. So that's all the indication you need. So they're up 2-0. Phoenix just looks bad. The worst team in the playoffs. I thought I would say a team with Kevin Durant on it, that he's playing on arguably the worst team in the playoffs, being down 2-0. They just don't look in sync. So I think that series is over. Now we get to the Pacers. They just evened the series against the Bucks, which I think this series is going to be exciting. I think this is one of the way the Pacers are playing basketball. They made some adjustments from game 1. Tyrese Halliburton, they freed him up a little bit. Pascal Siakam is a veteran. He's won an NBA title, so he knows how to play in these types of games with this young team. They've tied this series up. I wouldn't be surprised if they win game 3 and get this series 2-1 on Indiana's side. And then the last game we'll get into is Mavs and Clippers. That series is tied 1-1. Luka had an amazing game last night. Still get a lot from Kyrie. I think what I got from that game is Luka's great, Kawhi's rusty, and the Mavs can win this game in 7 games. Now we know the Mavs can win on the road. They take over home court advantage. So that's what I got for those in the quick news. Now, let's get into what we all been waiting for, some football. And we're going to talk about why the Bears will draft Caleb Williams. It's pretty obvious that they will, but I'm going to take 2 angles with this, all right? We're going to go from the fan side, and then I'm going to go to the side. The fan side, I think Justin Fields is a good player. He has some injury history. He didn't have a good offensive line around him, but he still played well in flashes. He could have gotten better. And teams always tell you exactly what they feel or what they're going to do by their personnel. They didn't fire Eberflus, so that let me know, all right, they're going to give Justin Fields with this team. But then with a guy like Caleb Williams, who is allegedly a generational talent, you can't pass that up. So from a fan perspective, I like Justin Fields, and I like the offense that they were putting around him. But from a business side, in Chicago, one of the biggest markets in the world, you cannot pass up on not 1, but 2 Heisman Trophy quarterbacks coming into this draft with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. So the Bears are going to pick Caleb Williams for the fact that you can't pass up on this again, all right? Back when Mahomes and Deshaun Watson were in the draft, the Bears moved up to number 2. I'm assuming they're going to get at least Deshaun Watson. He was the best quarterback coming out of college. Beat Alabama. You are Heisman runner-up. And they go with Mitch Trubisky, who started 10, 11 games in college. They move up to do that. So the franchise cannot afford to do that again by passing up on another generational talent, all right? So from a business standpoint, they have to do it. I understand it, and I think Caleb Williams is going to be great. But also, you can't let's think about it like this. Justin Fields in the building. He plays in Chicago. If he throws an incomplete pass, an interception, the fans are going to be cheering, we want Caleb all game long. You cannot do that to the locker room. Any mistakes that another quarterback would make, they're going to want Caleb Williams to play right away. So to not divide the locker room, from a business standpoint, you have to go with the number 1 guy. He was projected to be the number 1 pick last year if he would have left school. So I'm just glad. I appreciate you, the Carolina Panthers, giving us that number 1 pick again. Appreciate that. Nice doing business with y'all. So now we get to have Caleb Williams or our pick of the litter with Caleb or Jaden Daniels. So they'll obviously pick Caleb Williams at the number 1 pick tomorrow. But I'm going to have some fun with this. This is what I think they should do. At the number 1 pick, if the Commanders want Caleb Williams, so here are all the factors. Caleb Williams is from D.C. They just hired his offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, from USC. So they put all these things in place. They got new ownership. They're trying to move the business back to DC out of Virginia. They put all these things in place to position themselves to get a Caleb Williams, but they have the number 2 pick. So if I'm the Bears and I'm having a little fun with this is what I do. I'm holding Washington hostage 2 hours before the draft tomorrow. I'm locking them in a room and I'm saying, what are you willing to give me for this number 1 pick? If you want Caleb Williams that bad, because we can just get Jaden Daniels at 2. He's a Heisman Trophy. He is the only quarterback in FBS history with over 12,000 passing yards and rushing yards until this kid did it. So it ain't like it's a consolation prize to get Jaden Daniels, even though Caleb Williams is coveted. So what I'm doing is I'm kidnapping the GM from Washington. In a room, say, what do you want? Bears, I want to swap these picks. You get the 1, we get the 2. I want our 2nd round pick back that we gave you for Montez Sweat this season. I want the current number 2 pick that you also have. So I want both your number 2s, swap the 1 and 2, and I want a draft pick next year as well. So I want a 4 or a 3 next season if you want this number 1 pick. I'm building for the future. And I feel like Ryan Poles has been doing an excellent job the last couple of years, not only with personnel, but also how he worked with Justin Fields. So a lot of Bears fans were upset about us not getting a lot for Justin Fields, but I actually look at it big picture because what we did was, yes, we got a 4th round pick, conditional 6th round pick for Justin Fields. But think about it like this. Justin Fields knew that he wasn't going to stay in Chicago because of what is coming in, right? So knowing that, Ryan Poles did the right thing by sitting them down and saying, listen, you know what it is. We're bringing in a young generational talent we can't pass up on. So here's what we're going to do. Tell us where you want to go play, and we'll get you to that city. That means a lot to players. As a former athlete, I understand when a coach or a team puts your best interest at heart, and I feel like that's what the Bears did for Justin Fields. He wanted to go to Pittsburgh. They made it happen. And I think that shines a light on what our organization is doing for other free agents. So now you think as a player, if you're leaving your team and you're trying to figure out where to go, you can come play with Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, my defense, a historical franchise that's worth $6 billion, and a GM who's player friendly, right? He's going to put you in the best come to a franchise that's up and running, and we just signed a deal to build a new stadium next to Soldier Field, so that's getting renovated. So, like, things are popping in Chicago. So Ryan Poles is seeing this happen. He's looking ahead, and now as a free agent, you're looking, where can I go where I feel like the franchise, the front office is going to look for me in my best interest. So that's what I like about what the Bears are doing. I know that they're going to get Caleb Williams, and I'm just glad that they took care of Justin Fields on the back end. So happy for that. All right. So now we're going to these 5 picks. We're going through 5. The first 5 picks of the draft, and we'll talk about what they're doing. So obviously at number 1, we got the Bears. They will draft Caleb Williams. All right. And I just told y'all already what they should do with Washington. And I believe that wholeheartedly. If you don't want Caleb Williams and you want leverage, play the leverage game and swap that pick. But if not, obviously take the obvious choice, Caleb Williams. He is the highest draft Andrew Luck, of Patrick Mahomes, of Deshaun Watson, even bigger than down in Jacksonville, like even bigger than them. So it'll be cool to see what he does when the Bears pick him. And he's got an offense to play around, so I'm happy for that. Now, Washington has the 2 pick, but it's come out today that Antonio Pierce in Vegas is trying to move up. If you guys haven't heard that, they're trying to move up to the 2 spot. They're not getting 1, but they're trying to do whatever they can to move up at least in the top 2 or 3 picks to get a quarterback. Again, I told y'all earlier, teams will tell you what they're looking for by the moves they make. They're obviously not happy with the quarterback situation. So now they are trying to move up to get a quarterback, possibly a Jaden Daniels or Drake May. We'll see what happens with that. But if Washington stays at 2, they will get Jaden Daniels. And again, this is not a consolation prize at all. You got 2 Heisman Trophy winners back-to-back at 1 and 2. So I don't think they'll feel bad. They want the hometown kid, but the Bears ain't giving him up, so they'll get Jaden Daniels. And again, the only FBS quarterback in history to throw for 12,000 yards and rush for 3,000. In the same league where Michael Vick played, Cam Newton, like all these Deshaun Watson, all the Tua Tagovailoa, all these guys played, and he's the only quarterback to do it. So got to put some respect on Jaden Daniels. At number 3, the Patriots, if they stay at 3, they're going to do the most New England Patriots thing that they can do, and they're going to get Drake May out of North Carolina. I'm so glad that somebody else is giving North Carolina quarterback, and it's not the Bears. All right, y'all can have that Trubisky juju and take that and run with it. They're probably cursed because of what they did. Brady had a Babe Ruth curse up there, Boston again. But I'm glad that somebody else has to deal with the stench of North Carolina and Drake May. So y'all can have that. All right. So, but the scouts say he's good. They say he's good enough to be at 3. Personally, I think Michael Penix Jr. is better. I think he's got more experience. I think he played in a tougher conference, and he beat better teams. He beat better quarterbacks head-to-head. They're saying that Michael Penix might even drop to the second round just because of his injury history, which is crazy to me. I think he put enough on film to show that he is a top-tier quarterback. So hopefully the Raiders are moving up to get him. He can stay on the West Coast, so that'd be cool to see. At number 4, we're hearing some draft buzz rumors that Arizona might trade their pick. I don't think Arizona's going anywhere. With Marvin Harrison Jr., they say he might be the top prospect, period. So Caleb Williams may be the top quarterback. They're saying Marvin Harrison might be the best football player in this draft and maybe the most NFL ready. He was NFL ready last season, but he was too young to go to the league. That's how good Marvin Harrison is. I don't think Arizona passes this up. But also, again, teams telling you how they feel, right? Arizona's going to tell us how they feel about Kyler Murray based on this draft. If they want to keep Kyler Murray, they will draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and bring some weapons into Arizona, especially after losing Hollywood Brown. Well, Hollywood Brown, they lost him. He went to Baltimore first. But losing a top-tier receiver and coming back and getting probably the best football player in the draft, that'll tell us if Arizona's serious about Kyler Murray or not, or if they're going to let him play video games and go somewhere else. So we'll see how that goes. All right. At number 5, I think the Vikings move up. I think the Vikings move up and get that number 5 from the Chargers, and here's why. Jim Harbaugh, his first order of business, he wants his guy to get drafted high. They don't need a quarterback because they got Herbert. But J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings want a quarterback bad, and they like J.J. McCarthy. I can see the Vikings. We got fans in the house. I see the Vikings moving up to that 5 spot and drafting J.J. McCarthy, and that will be Jim Harbaugh giving them a gift and saying, here you go. We'll go down to 8 because they want Joe Alt from Notre Dame anyway. They need the offensive line play. I think they get Joe Alt, and he'll be available at 8, so they don't risk anything moving up to 5 and getting J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings. So you guys let me know what you think about those 5. Again, you can always like, share, subscribe, follow on YouTube. We are live on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Rumble as well. And you can always catch the audio on all the platforms. So put comments in. Let me know what you think of that 5. And we'll keep rolling from there. All right? Now, the Chiefs. So we got Chiefs fans in the house. I know they draft late. They draft late, but I'm at least put my input on what I think they are going to do. I actually think they move up. And I think they move up to get the 24th pick. They want this wide receiver out of Texas. I think they want Adonai Mitchell. I think they do whatever they need to do to get him. He is a prototypical wide receiver for what Andy Reid likes to do. He can play inside. He can play outside. He's a great route runner. He's got speed. And Rashee Rice, they definitely need somebody to play next to Hollywood Brown. And a aging Travis Kelce. Every year I say Travis Kelce's getting old. It's like he's listening to me through my TV, and then he gets 5, 6 touchdowns 5 games in a row. So I don't know what I'm doing, but you're welcome, Chiefs Nation. See, like every time I talk crazy about this dude, he go crazy, he go off. But I feel like with Adonai Mitchell, I think they give themselves a shot in the arm. The Chiefs have been a great team to draft. Their front office has been great for the last probably decade. So I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up. And another good nugget about Adonai Mitchell, in 3 years at Texas, Chiefs fans will love this. He's only dropped 5 passes in college football, y'all. So there you go. Somebody that does not drop the ball. I'm sure that's what y'all been praying for. So y'all can get that guy, and he should do some numbers for y'all for sure. But also, if he's not available and they don't move up, they can get Lad McConkey from Georgia. He's a good wide receiver as well. He's got experience organizationally. He's been at Georgia. He's won back-to-back national titles, so he's a back-to-back champ as well. So he obviously comes from a good program. He can be coached. I don't think he's the athlete that Mitchell is, but again, he's somebody in 1-2 years in the playbook, in a system that Andy Reid can teach. He can grow and be a good wide receiver. Andy Reid is good at developing players. He'd be that player that you develop and you see something out of him. But Adonai Mitchell is a Rashee Rice. You just let him go. Like, he can come in week 1 and contribute. So they'll have their pick of the litter when it comes to that. If Adonai Mitchell is still available, because this is a heavy wide receiver draft. Like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. will be gone. Azuye will be gone from Washington. Hopefully he's still at 9 and we can pick him. But I think those guys will be gone. All right. So now, this part of the show, I got a trivia question for you guys. All right. So you can use your phones. You can do whatever you need to do. The fastest person to get this answer right will get a free X Factor Sports Podcast shirt. We got the famous yo 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 on the back. We got the badges on the front. We got sizes from small to 2X in the gray and black. All right. So here is our trivia question for the night. Along with Joe Montana and the 3rd pick of the draft, who was the other player the Chiefs acquired for their first-round pick in 1993? Who was the player that the Chiefs got from the 49ers with Joe Montana and a pick in 1993? Whoever's the first one to get there, that is incorrect. That was a great guess because Marcus Allen did play for the Chiefs, came for the Raiders. Oh, we got a hand up in the back. It is not Will Shields. That is incorrect. I like the guesses, though. That is not correct either. Whoever gets it the fastest, you can Google and do whatever you want. Whoever gets it. Uh-oh, hold on. Who we got? It is David Whitmore. David Whitmore is the answer. He is the player. The Chiefs made a draft trade in 1993 to get Joe Montana, and it was Dave Whitmore, Joe Montana, and the 3rd-round pick for their first-round pick. Dave Whitmore. We got a winner over there. We got a large. What color? Gray or black? We got a black large. There we go. We got a winner over there. David Whitmore was the pick. All right. Cool. All right. So now, this part of the show, I'm going to have Miss D move around. If there's any questions, whether it's draft related, whether it's sports related at all, we can debate it back and forth. If you want any feedback, how I feel about it, whatever, we can do this real quick, get a couple questions in, and then we'll finish up with the 2-minute warning, and we'll continue rolling. All right?
So you addressed it a little bit earlier.
Uh-huh.
From a sports perspective.
Sports.
We all live in a smaller market. So speaking to the Nuggets.
Yep.
Let's go. You brought up earlier, everyone talks about how the bigger market teams lose versus the smaller market teams winning. Why is that so prevalent in sports, or how people cover it?
Smaller market teams winning and losing?
Yes. Well, how come they talk more about the losing team from a bigger market
I got you.
than a smaller market team winning?
I got you. So if y'all didn't hear that question, he's asking, and he's a Denver Nuggets fan, so that's why the question is here. Defending champ fan over there. So he's asking for small market teams, even when the small market teams win, why are the teams from the bigger markets getting more publicity, right? And the reason is it's ratings. So there are more people in bigger markets, your LAs, your New Yorks, your Chicagos, that are watching these games. And it's the bigger story. So anytime you, even when you look at MVPs, even when you look at defensive player of the years, media, the old media is all narrative based, right? They're looking for the best story, what sounds the best. Even last week, I talked about why I think Jason Tatum should win MVP. He's the best player on the best team. And nobody had a standout season with crazy numbers. There was no Russell Westbrook triple-double, none of that. If you're the most dominant player on the best team and you're in first place by 15 games, you should probably be the MVP. Right? You're probably the most valuable player. So to your question about small markets, the reason is simply because of the narrative behind how many people are following this. It's all metrics. There are more people in the LA Lakers worldwide. Remember, the LA Lakers is a worldwide brand. So more people care about them winning or losing versus the Denver Nuggets being the best team in basketball. So that's the better story. And unfortunately that happens. But it's cool to see small market teams win. Even the Colorado Avalanche won that Stanley Cup. The Denver Nuggets are champs. So it's cool to see small market teams. The Bucks won a couple years ago. Toronto won. It's just a sign of the times. Things changing and there's more parity in sport. And as a sports fan, I love it. So that's a good question. But that's, I think, the reason why it happens. What else we got?
What's your opinion on Aaron Boone getting kicked out, ejected after not saying anything? And then to add to that question, what's your opinion on when you look at like an NFL game, the coaches can go off on the refs, not get kicked out at all. NBA would come like in second. Baseball, you say one little thing and you're gone. There's different levels of tolerance, if you want to call it, on getting a coach ejected. What's your opinion?
Asking the difference between umpires and refs in sport. So the first question with Aaron Boone, that was, I haven't seen it, look it up. The fans are going crazy. You're in New York, it is what it is. And the answer to that is umpires, the MLB is a game, all right? The rules, the way they do the Hall of Fame, everything is old-fashioned. They try to keep the game as traditional as possible. And one of those traditions, you can't show up the umpires. It doesn't matter how prevalent or how big of a manager you are, you cannot show up umpires. You can't kick the dirt at them. You can't do any of that. They don't want to be showed up. So the umpire is going to take control of the game. In football or basketball, they understand that it's a change in the time. So those sports evolve with time. They're allowing the players to play. They allow the coaches to coach, let them get their words out, and they're good. So you'll see a lot of veteran refs. You may see a player going crazy, and you'll see the refs like, all right, like that's enough. That's a veteran ref letting the player, air his grievances, get pissed off, whatever. Now, veteran refs and officials can do that. So in football, if Andy Reid's going crazy, I mean, come on. Andy's been in the NFL for 4 years. Like, you really going to throw him out of the game? Like, it's Andy Reid. So a that isn't worried about getting showed up. They understand that the product is on the field. It's not about them. So they can throw the tradition out of the window and allow the players to play. You get all this out of your system and let's play ball. In baseball, just still on the traditional side, they don't want to be showed up. So that's what I think the difference is. I don't think an NFL coach has ever been thrown out, but in college, didn't we see a security guard get thrown out in a football game? That's the first time I ever seen that. So yeah, so you can get the coaches don't usually get thrown out. It's usually the lackeys behind them that get thrown out, all the tough guys. So You don't see that. We got another question? Uh-oh. My man right there. What's up?
Being that you're a White Sox fan.
Unfortunately.
What's
Unfortunately.
your thoughts on the White Sox tracking for the 21 game winning streak?
All right, so he asked about my White Sox, who are on pace to lose every game this year. You know, I laugh to keep from crying. But what are my thoughts on it? Honestly, and I told you guys this the other day, they might lose 130 games this year. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody in professional sports tank this bad, or even if they're doing it on purpose. They may just be the bad news bears. But my thoughts on it is, once we let go of Tim Anderson, I knew there was no leadership in the clubhouse. As many issues as he had, being a tough, hard-nosed player, he established leadership. We don't have any more leadership. Once Jose Abreu left, now TA's gone. I don't even know who the veteran leadership is in the locker room. There's no manager with a voice in there, you know. So I don't know where we go from here. I think you might as well, by the time we get to June or July, you might as well move the minor leaguers up and let them play ball, because what we're getting on the field is a bad product. I'm still obviously a White Sox fan. It won't change, but I'm also a realist, and they look bad. So I think Lee Summit High School could probably beat them right now. They look that bad. So until they get their act together, there's no leadership, and it comes in the clubhouse first. It comes up from the top and getting veteran leadership in the clubhouse in order to play. Baseball is all about camaraderie and leadership in the clubhouse and guys that want to play together, and these guys look like they don't want to play together at all. So that's what I think. Yep. All right, we got a couple more. Cool. Let's keep them going. Yep, keep them coming.
Do you think the Packers will trade or make a pick in the first round?
Say that one more time.
Do you think the Packers will trade or make a pick in the first round?
What? I know it's the Packers. I got a nasty taste in my mouth right now saying it, but it's good though. It's good. That's a good question. What pick do they have? They got a late first round. They need something though. They need something. They need off. I don't think they trade. When you need a position that important in football, you don't want to risk getting out of the first round, especially for a left tackle, for a young quarterback, Jordan Love. I don't see them moving. If anything, they're going to try to move up. But I don't see them trading out of the first round. To get Never. But, I mean, yeah, it'd be Jordan Love. It'd be the quarterback. I was going to go back and say Bart Starr. I don't know. But I think because of what they need, they have an offensive-minded coach in LaFleur. I think they understand what they need. And they got young wide receivers that are playing well. They gelled well together. They won a playoff game on the road. Jordan Love looked good. I think they keep their momentum going by trying to get some protection. So I don't think they get out of the first round for that.
Regarding Caleb Williams, we talked about this as far as his attitude and his dad, how much of an effect do you think that has on teams taking him overall 1 or 2?
It's good. That's a good question. So he asked about Caleb Williams, his father's personality thing. I don't think that plays a big role in it, simply because the talent, the way it goes in sports, professional sports in particular, when you get into the league, your talent versus what we're willing to tolerate is like a pendulum, right? Once the negative comes over the talent, then it's time to look somewhere else. So I'll use a basketball analogy. Draymond Green, right? Draymond was great for this Warriors dynasty. Even with the antics, kicking LeBron, elbowing people, doing WWE stuff, he was still winning championships. Now, his antics outweigh the production. So now we got to start talking about, all right, where do we need to move? We're getting old. With Caleb Williams, it's unbelievable. Having to deal with a dad who's not going to be in your locker room, not going to be dealing with the front office, I don't see that being an issue. you're now playing with grown men, right? So I think he has enough humility to understand that he's playing with grown men and that he has to come in humble and be ready to play football. That I don't think the attitude will do anything. I think they'll keep that level. If there's some antics or if there'll be mistakes made in the press, whatever. All players do that. He's young. But overall, I think the talent and the humility will supersede all
Last question, apparently. Why do you think, your opinion, that the NHL doesn't get as much exposure as the NBA and
that. Great question.
NFL and NBA? Because, like, no conversation on the daughter, right? Like, no one knows that Utah is now getting a hockey team. Like, there's no discussion about it. Why does, to me, the NHL is amazing sport, but it doesn't get enough exposure to the other big two sports.
Got you. Great question. So we're talking NHL. So why isn't NHL as prominent as the other three major sports in America? Number one, because it is perceived as a Canadian sport. It's not perceived as American football or the NBA. I think it's just hard to get into because of all of the nuances of hockey, the rules. Like the average fan can't follow hockey and understand the rules, the icing and all that. They don't understand what's going on with hockey. The players are not relatable. Like a lot of the players are from out of this country. A lot of them are Canadian. A lot of them are Russian. So you can't even pronounce half of their names. Like there's a lot into it that the casual fan doesn't see. And to be honest, in order for a sport to grow, I was just talking to a friend of mine about the WNBA. In order for a sport to grow, the casual fan has to like it. Of course, you have the sports fanatics like me that watch everything. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter to me. I'll watch whatever. That's a very small percentage of the population. But the way you win is you get casual fans excited. And the casual fan doesn't understand the game of hockey. All they understand is there's fights on ice, right? Or the names, how many teams are in hockey. Nobody knows where the hell Winnipeg is. You watch the NFL. So it's just things. For me, I love the sport of hockey. It's fun. It's hard to do. If you've never watched hockey, go watch an NHL game live. It'll change your whole perspective on how fun hockey is, how fast and how good you have to be to play it. But yes, to answer your question, I think that's the reason why. The casual fan just doesn't grasp the concept of hockey. Why is there a hockey team in LA? There's nothing but sand and palm trees. Why are they playing on ice? You know what I'm saying? Like just those sudden nuances of the game that the average fan doesn't get. So that's why I think it is. So yeah. So thank you guys for the Q&A. Like I said, we will have these shirts. They are for sale after the show. There's a QR code to Venmo or Cash, and you can get any of these shirts. There will be different colors that come out. If you don't want this color, just let me know. We can get some shipping done for that. Also, Bogey's Pub, where we are tonight, they have a raffle for tomorrow's NFL draft. Scan the QR code on the cornhole here in the front, and you'll have a chance to win your own cornhole game. All right? Now, we always do our 2-minute warning where we kind of combine sports, life, put it all together, and sum up the show. So with what is happening now, me out here in front of a bunch of people, friends and family watching me do this thing, it brought me to thinking about dreaming, right? If scary, they're not big enough. That's kind of how I look at it. If you have a dream or you think about doing something, you want to do it bigger and bigger, that's when you know that it's something that you want to pursue or attain. If it doesn't scare you, if it doesn't get other people looking at you crazy, like you telling people your dreams, they're like, really? Can you do that? Like, how'd you do that? That's when you know your dreams are big. Now you're on the right path. So are you the type of person to tell people your dreams or keep them to yourself? Me, I like to tell people about it. Anytime somebody asks me about this podcast, I feel like I bore them to tears because I can't stop talking about it. It's a passion of mine. Obviously, it's fun for me. So Even Miss D was nervous for me. Like, you gonna talk to all these people? I'm like, I love it. This is what I dreamed to do, and so it's cool for me. So the best thing for someone to do is dream and have someone else to share that dream with, right? If you can share that dream with somebody, there's accountability there. There is somebody keeping you on the right path. There is just you knowing somebody's got your back, no matter if you reach it or you don't. Somebody's there for you. So it's supposed to scare you, right? This is supposed to be nerve-wracking, right? I've never done this before in front of a live audience, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. So it's great again, but that's what it takes to push the limits, right? Life is a pandemic in the world. Why do the things that you are comfortable doing when you know there's so many things out in the world that you can try, explore, do, and have fun with? So that's what dreaming is about. Like, is seeing how you can push the limits and being able to do that and enjoying looking back and saying, I did that. All right. So how can you make those things happen? You know, continue to dream and just think about what it is you want to do, whether it be in your profession, whether it be a hobby, anything outside of work. You know, I got a good friend of mine that's in the audience that's going to start his own podcast. I'm so excited for him to do it. And I will give him all the support he needs. I'll tell him all the pitfalls and all the oopses that happen before if you go live versus recorded, all those things I'm excited for. And just anybody else that has dreams that want to pursue them, you can look no further than a person like me to see how it can be realized and how I enjoy doing it moving forward. So I want to thank y'all for stopping by, tuning in to the X Factor Sports Podcast, Season 4, Episode 5, the live fan appreciation episode. I want to thank Bogey's Pub. I want to thank Gary, Nikki for setting this up, for promoting it. It's been fun. It's great. I hope we can do it again. I want to thank the audience for all you guys that always support, all the family and friends in the crowd. And thank all you guys. Of course, none of this would be possible with Miss D. I know y'all always hear me. Y'all hear me say Miss D all the time on the show. She's like the person without a face. Now we got the Miss D, everybody that knows her already, but the people that didn't know, there she is right there. So thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, we will get into the NBA playoffs deep dive, and we will definitely get into the NHL because we'll probably be through the first round, and we'll get into who we got going to the Stanley Cup final and the NBA Finals. This is Jay Mondane, X Factor Sports Podcast. Peace.